Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Replacement Player Baseball. Today, we're going to see the final game of a three-game set with the Philadelphia Phillies visiting the Chicago Cubs. Cubs come into this game at 12-15, 5.5 games behind the division-leading Pirates, 4th place in the National League Central. Let's play some baseball. The Cubs are going to have a bit of a new-look lineup today, after having executed a three-way trade with the Yankees and Rangers prior to today's game. We're going to see that the Cubs are going to run out Danny Santana as the new leadoff hitter and left fielder. He is a switch hitter, followed by David Fletcher, acquired to play second base at the beginning of the season. Rizzo, Baez, Bryant, Contreras, Almora, all returning members of the lineup, and then Mike Tauschman, who's also just been acquired, is spelling Jason Hayward out in right field. Cubs are going to send Jose Quintana to the mound to start this game. He is 3-2 with a 2.20 ERA and a 1.10 WHIP. Probably been the Cubs' most effective starter so far this season. For the Philadelphia Phillies, attempting to finish the sweep against the Cubs, they are going to send Kwang Hyung Kim to the mound. He is 4-0 in 5 starts with an even better ERA of 2.06 and a 1.06 WHIP. Well, let's see how this one plays out. It is 50 degrees today. The wind blowing in from right for the third day in a row. 10 mph. And here we are. Just another spectacular day on the north side of Chicago, ready to play some baseball. Phillies come into the game with a 20-7 record, having them sitting atop the National League East. Quintana looks in with a 2-2 count. He gets the sign, and here's the pitch. And that is going to be Quinn singling into center field to lead off the game. Almora gets to it, gets it back into the infield quickly. Quinn is standing on first, nobody out. McCutchen is now the batter. 1-2 count to McCutchen. He pops it up. Baez actually chases it down along the third base line. Baez calls off Bryant, puts it away for the first out. And now Rhys Hoskins will be the batter, with Quinn still standing on first and 1 out. 1-1 pitch. Hoskins grounds back to the pitcher, and Quintana goes to second to get the first out. He attempted to start the double play, but there's no chance at a relay. And it looks like on that slide, Roman Quinn was actually injured, and they're going to take him out of the ball game. Looks like he might have tore up his elbow sliding into second base. Well, this is going to bring up the always dangerous Bryce Harper now with 1 out and 2 outs and 1 man on first. 1 strike count. Harper hits it out to right center field. It looks like that'll be playable, and Almora comes in to put it away for the 3rd out. The Phillies do not score. They strand 1 runner. We go now to the bottom of the first with a 0-0 game. Danny Santana is going to stand in as the new Cub leadoff hitter. First pitch. He lays down a bunt, gets it almost past the pitcher, and he is able to leg it out for an infield single. That was a nice piece of decision making there by Santana. Laid down the bunt, got it past the pitcher's mound, and then won the foot race to first. Fletcher is now going to bat with an 0-1 count. Fletcher hits it straight away center. It looks like the new center fielder, Herrera, steps up and makes the play for the first out. Santana stays on first. Rizzo now will bat. Lefty against lefty, 2-2 count. Rizzo hits it on the ground over to second, to short, to first. 4-6-3 double play, and the side is retired. We go now to the top of the second inning in a 0-0 game. Juan Segura who actually kicked off that inning-ending double play in the bottom of the first, is now going to lead off the top of the second. 2-1 pitch. He grounds to third. Bryant has it, throws to Rizzo, and Segura is retired for the first out. Gregorius now will bat with a 1-ball count. And he lays down a bunt, but it's right at Rizzo. Rizzo catches it and throws to Fletcher, covering first, but the runner is safe at first. I don't know why Rizzo waited for that throw. I don't know why he didn't just run it over to first himself, but I guess that's not the way it worked out. So now the Phillies have 1 out, 1 man on, and the Philadelphia catcher, Grulon, is now back. And he grounds it up the middle, over to second for 1, cross to first for the second out, and that is another 4-6-3 double play. Well, the GDP of Chicago is rising, and the Cubs now come up in the bottom of the second. Baez will lead off for the Cubs. First pitch to Baez, swinging. He hits it the opposite way, pops it up to right field. The second baseman, Segura, actually ranges over into short right field to make that catch and put it away for the first out. Chris Bryant now will bat with a 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Bryant hits it to straightaway center. That's going to be a pop-up for the second out, as Herrera puts it away, and Contreras will now bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the pitch, and he slaps it on the left field. That is going to drop in for a base hit. The left fielder played it on 1 hop. McCutchen got it back in quickly. Contreras stops at first. Almora now the batter with 2 outs and 1 man on. 2-1 count. And Almora hits it up the middle, another single. Contreras going for third. Wow. Contreras slides in safely to third base on the Almora single. He just never stopped as he rounded second. I was a little surprised by that. And that'll bring up Mike Tauschman with an opportunity to drive in the first run of the game. Contreras is on third. Almora is on first. There are 2 out and an 0-2 count. And Tauschman knocks it right at the shortstop. Oh, I thought that was going to get into center field. But the shortstop, Gregorius, jumps up and gets it at the top of his leap. That was very nearly a run for the Cubs, but it's not the way it worked out. We go now to the top of the third inning, and still a 0-0 game. Quintana with a 1-2 pitch, and he strikes out Shrimp to start out the third inning. 1 down, that is Quintana's first strikeout of the game, and here is the Phillies pitcher, Kim, batting with a 1-ball count. That is hit hard to left field. I believe the stadium is going to hold it, though. And nope, that is in fact the second out of the inning. I wasn't sure if that was off the wall, but Santana went right up to the ivy and plucked it out. So Kim flies out for number 2, and now Herrera is the batter with 2 outs and a 1-strike count. And that is a ground ball right in front of the plate. The catcher, Contreras, has it, throws to Rizzo, and that retires the side. Going out of the bottom of the third inning in a 0-0 game. Quintana is going to lead off in the bottom of the third with a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. He pops it up to third. It looks like that'll be playable in front of the dugout, and it is. That is the first out. The catcher, Grulon, actually made the catch. Santana will now bat with 1 out and nobody on. 3-1 count to Santana. And he hits it on the ground over to first. Hoskins has it, gobbles it up, throws over, or runs it over to first himself. There was no one else covering. Hoskins makes the second out unassisted on the ground ball, and now Fletcher will bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the pitch to Fletcher. Ground ball again to Hoskins. This time the pitcher, Kim, will cover, and Fletcher is retired for the third out. The Cubs go down 1-2-3. We go now to the top of the fourth in a 0-0 game. Quintana will face McCutcheon to lead off the top of the fourth inning. 1-2 count to McCutcheon. Strike three called. McCutcheon thought that was a little up and in, but the umpire disagreed. Quintana with 2 strikeouts now on the game, and Hoskins will be the batter with 1 out and nobody on. 1 ball count to Hoskins. Here's the pitch. That's going to be a ground ball up the middle. Fletcher had it, but he booted it. He was actually in position with the shift to make that play behind second base. But the error allows Hoskins to reach first. Now we're going to have Harper back with a runner on first and 1 out. 2-1 count to Harper. Harper grounds to second, over to short, relay to first, and there is GDP number 3 of the game. We go now to the bottom of the fourth inning with a 0-0 tie. Rizzo will bat against Kim to lead off the Cubs half of the fourth. Cubs are going to send up 3, 4, 5 batters. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Rizzo. Strike 3 swinging. Rizzo looked pretty bad on that pitch, the changeup that was away. And now Baez will bat with 1 out and nobody on. And an 0-2 count to Baez. Strike 3 called. Baez apparently was not looking for the fastball on that pitch. And that is strikeout number 2 for Kim. Bryant will now bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Full count to Bryant. Bryant hits it hard into center field. That's going to be a base hit. Bryant circles first, wide turn, but ultimately heads back. He settles for a single. Contreras will bat now with Bryant on first and 2 outs. 3-1 count. And Contreras draws the walk. He watches ball 4 go by outside on a changeup. And Almora now will have a chance with a runner in scoring position. There are 2 outs and 2 men on base. 0-1 count. Almora hits it up the middle. He got the base hit. Bryant circling third. He makes a wide turn and he's coming home. The throw comes home. Bryant is safe and the Cubs have a 1-0 lead on the Almora RBI single. Contreras stops at second base. Almora's at first. 2-out RBI single for Almora. And Tauschman will now bat. Same situation, 2 outs, runners on first and second. 2-1 count to Tauschman. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be lifted out to left field, short left field, and Gregorius ranges back to make the play. Well, the Cubs break the deadlock. They score the first run of the game. They're up 1-0, going now to the top of the 5th inning. Quintana, charged with maintaining the 1-0 lead, will face the Phillies 5, 6, 7 batters here in the top of the 5th. 1 strike count. Quintana comes to the plate. That is a line drive to right field. However, Tauschman makes a nice running catch to retire Segura for the first out. Gregorius will now bat with 1 out and nobody on. With the pitch, that's a ground ball up the middle. Fletcher has it, throws to first, and there are now 2 outs, and Grulon will be the batter. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Swing and a miss on a changeup that was outside. He had him fooled very badly on that pitch. Well, that will end the Phillies half of the 5th inning. The Cubs will now come up in the bottom of the 5th, still with a 1-0 lead. Quintana will bat for himself here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Full count to Quintana. Ball 4 outside. That was way outside. Second walk of the game for Kim, and he just walked the opposing pitcher, Quintana. That'll bring up Santana with nobody out, the runner on first. 1 ball count. Santana hits a ground ball to short, over to second, relay to first, and ground ball double play, erases the base runner. That'll bring up David Fletcher with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-1 count to Fletcher. Kim with the pitch. That's going to be a base hit into right field. Fletcher gets it just past the diving second baseman, and Fletcher stands on first with a single. Rizzo will now bat with 2 outs and a runner on first. Full count to Rizzo. way inside. That was up around his chin. Rizzo draws the walk. He gets up, heads down to first. Fletcher goes to second, and Baez is the batter now with 2 outs and 2 men on. Cubs looking to add to their lead. First pitch to Baez. Hard hit to center field. That's going back. It looks like that is going to be caught on the warning track. Herrera makes the catch to retire the side. Baez certainly gave it a ride, but ultimately came up just a few feet short of a home run. We go now to the Phillies half of the 6th inning, still with a 1-0 Cub lead. Quintana will face the 8-9-1 batters in the Philadelphia order in the top of the 6th inning. 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 swinging. Shrimp goes down for the first out. That is strikeout number 4 for Quintana. And the opposing pitcher, Kim, will now bat for himself in the top of the 6th inning. 2-2 count. Quintana to the plate. Oh, Kim thought he checked his swing, but he did not. Umpire says he went around. Strike 3 for the second out. 5 strikeouts now for Quintana. Herrera the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch to Herrera. Here it comes. That'll be skied out to right center field. It looks like that'll be playable. It is. Tauschman catches it on the warning track. I believe the wind knocked that one down just enough to keep it out of the basket. And Quintana pitches shutout inning number 6. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Cubs still leading 1-0. Chris Bryant will lead off for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Bryant smokes it down the left field line. That's going to be a base hit for Bryant. He actually stops on at first. He really almost hit that ball too hard. It got up to McCutchen too quickly. And Contreras now the batter with Bryant on first and nobody out. 2-strike count to Contreras. Strike 3 swing. Contreras strikes out for the first out of the inning. Almora will now bat. He has the RBI single, been the difference in this game so far. He'll bat with Bryant on first and 1 out. 1-1 count to Almora. Almora hits it down the right field line this time. That's going to be extra bases. Bryant goes around second. He's headed for third. Almora heads into second base. He's standing in there with a double. Bryant stops at third. Cubs now have second and third and 1 out. And now Tauschman will be the batter. Cubs looking to add to this 1-0 lead. First pitch to Tauschman. And they intentionally walk him to bring up the pitcher. What a brilliant piece of strategy by the Philadelphia manager. Quintana will now be batting for himself with the bases loaded and 1 out. Cubs trying to extend a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Can Quintana make him pay for this intentional walk? 1-ball count. Quintana gets it over the infielder's head. That's going to bounce in left field. 1 run is in. Quintana gets the RBI single, and the Cubs extend the lead 2-0. Quintana says, "You don't intentionally walk people to get to me. I drive in runs." Santana now the batter. Still 1 out. Still with the bases loaded. The Philadelphia pitcher Kim still out on the mound. He has now 86 pitches to his name. 2-0 pitch. And he hits it hard down in the left field corner. That's going to score a couple of runs. 1 run is in. Second runner comes around third to score. Santana is standing on second base with a double. He drives in 2. McCutchen gets the ball back into the infield. The Cubs are now up 4-0. David Fletcher will now be the batter. With 1 out, runners on second and third. Cubs already scored 3 runs in this inning to make it a 4-0 lead. 1-2 count. That's going to go right up the middle for another base hit. The next runner will score. Fletcher drives in the run on an RBI single. Santana comes home to score. Quintana came home to score. Santana's still standing on third. Fletcher has the RBI single. And now we're going to see a relief pitcher for the Phillies. Nick Pivetta is going to relieve the starter, Kim. What do we have for a line here? Kim through 5 1/3 innings, he allowed 11 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts through 93 pitches. Well, let's get back to the game now. Rizzo, the batter, with runners on first and third and 1 out. Pivetta with a 1-ball count. And the ball gets away. That's going to be a wild pitch. Another run is going to score. Santana is going to score from third. As Fletcher advances to second on the wild pitch, the Cubs are now owners of a 6-0 lead. Rizzo still batting with another runner in scoring position. 3-1 count to Rizzo. Here's the pitch. And he gets it into right field. That is going to be, it's going to drop for a base hit. I thought that was going to be a fly ball out or a line drive out, but Harper fell back, played it on a bounce instead of running up on it to try to make the catch. Fletcher wasn't sure what to make of it. He ended up hesitating between second and third base, and he was not able to score. So Rizzo is now on first, Fletcher on third, and Baez the batter with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Full count to Baez. Baez swings and misses on a changeup for strike 3. That is the 2nd out of the inning. And Bryant now the batter with a 2-2 count. And Bryant watches strike 3 go by. Well, the Cubs have scored 5 in the bottom of the 6th inning. They now own a 6-0 lead. Quintana coming out for inning number 7. He's actually only thrown 57 pitches through 6 innings of work. Very efficient day for Quintana. He'll face McCutchen, Hoskins, and Harper in the top of the 7th inning. Full count now. Quintana with the pitch. And, of course, he decides to walk the leadoff batter in the top of the 7th inning. So, McCutchen heads down to first. Hoskins now the batter. 0-2 count to Hoskins with the pitch. That's going to be a base hit into right field. Phillies have something going here. They have the first 2 runners on. The runner from first is going to advance all the way to third. The throw is late out of right field. Hoskins has the single. McCutchen advances to third. Harper now the batter with nobody out and runners on the corners. 1-2 count to Harper. He pops it up to left field. That's going to be playable. The catch is made. The throw comes all the way home. The throw is late. McCutchen is able to tag up and score the Phillies' first run of the game. We now have 1 out. Runner on first, and Segura the batter in a 6-1 game. 2-2 count to Segura. With the pitch, ground ball to short. Baez has it, throws to first, and they retire Segura for the 2nd out of the inning. Hoskins advances to second on the fielder's choice, and Gregorius will bat with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And he is going to hit a soft liner right at Fletcher on the first pitch. That is going to retire the Phillies in the top of the 7th inning, but not before they get 1 run back. And we now go to the bottom of the 7th with a 6-1 Cub lead. And for our 7th inning stretch today, we have the one and only Rick Sutcliffe singing the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Now, Contreras will be the batter. He will lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cubs will send the 6, 7, 8 batters up. 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Contreras strikes out swinging. Pivetta logs his 3rd strikeout of the game, and Almora will now bat with 1 out and nobody on. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Almora grounds to second. That should be routine play. Second to first, and that will retire Almora for the 2nd out. Tauschman now will bat with 2 outs and nobody on. Pivetta with the pitch. That's another ground ball to second. Relay to first, and the Cubs are retired 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 7th. We go now to the top of the 8th inning with a 6-1 Cub lead. Quintana will face the 7, 8, 9 batters in the Philadelphia order in the top of the 8th inning. Grulon, the Philadelphia catcher, will lead off. First pitch, Quintana comes to the plate. There's a ground ball to third. Bryant has it, throws to Rizzo, 1 down. Score that one 5-3 on the ground out. Schimpf will now bat with 1 out and nobody on. 1 strike count. And that's going to be a line drive into right field. That'll be a single for Schimpf. And the Phillies now have runner on first and 1 out. And we are going to see a pinch hitter. Neil Walker is going to come up to pinch hit for the pitcher's spot. Phillies trying to claw their way back into this game, down by 5 in the top of the 8th inning. 1 strike count. Quintana with the pitch. That's going to be a pop-up to left center field. Long run. However, Santana is there to make the catch. And that is out number 2. Herrera will now bat with 2 outs and the runner still standing on first. 1 ball count. Here comes the pitch. That's going to be a single up the middle. The runner is going to advance all the way from first to third on that single as Almora throws to third, but it is late. Schimpf slides into third safely. On the Herrera single, McCutchen is now the batter with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Quintana is at 85 pitches, looking to try to close out the Phillies in the top of the 8th inning. 3-1 count. Quintana looks in. Here's the pitch. Ball 4 outside. The bases are now loaded. Well, even in the worst case, the Phillies cannot tie the game up right here yet, but Quintana really needs to retire Hoskins to get out of this inning, because coming up next is Bryce Harper. And the last thing you want to give Bryce Harper the opportunity to do is to tie the game up with a home run. So let's see what Quintana can do with Hoskins. 1 strike count. Quintana comes to the plate. Hoskins hits it out to center field, and Almora catches the line drive to retire the Phillies in the top of the 8th inning. Phillies load the bases, but they do not score. We go now to the bottom of the 8th inning, still with a 6-1 Cub lead. Quintana, surprisingly, will be allowed to bat for himself in the bottom of the 8th inning. He is going to face the Philadelphia lefty, Ranger Suarez. Suarez looking in for the sign, and here comes the pitch. Quintana is hit. He's hit, and he's hit in the left shoulder. That is just not good, because that is his pitching shoulder. Well, that's unfortunate the way that worked out. But Quintana's standing on first. Fortunately, he's not injured. And Santana will bat with nobody out and 1 man on. 1 strike count. Here comes the pitch. Santana with a single up the middle. Quintana rounding second, but he thinks better of it. He heads back to second rather than trying to get to third. Quintana has just been a big contributor in today's game, both on the mound and on the bases. Fletcher will now bat. Runners on first and second with nobody out. Here comes the pitch. Popped up to left field. McCutchen comes in, and he waves off Gregorius and puts it away for the first out. Rizzo will now bat with first and second and 1 man out. 2-0 count to Rizzo. Rizzo hits it on a line into right field. That's going to be a single for Rizzo. However, because they weren't sure if Segura was going to catch that ball, but he dove for it, but he just got beyond the reach of his glove. So the bases are loaded now for Baez. Cubs trying to add to a 6-1 lead. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning, 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Baez swings and misses, and that is strike 3. We go now to Bryant with 2 outs and the bases still loaded in the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-1 count. Bryant draws ball 4, and that will walk in the run. Cubs are now up 7-1. Bryant, because of a quirk in the baseball rules, is actually credited with an RBI, although he did not put the bat on the ball. And the Cubs still have the bases loaded with a 7-1 lead, and Contreras now is the batter with a 3-0 count. Here comes the pitch. Contreras watches ball 4 go by low. That was not even close. And we have another walk to force in a run. Cubs have now scored twice in the bottom of the 8th inning and own an 8-1 lead. Steven Souza will be the pinch hitter. He's going to pinch hit in the number 7 spot. Souza will come up with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 1-1 count to Souza. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right in front of the plate. The catcher has it, throws to first, and Souza's retired for the 3rd out. Cubs leave the bases loaded, but they score 2 more times. They go now to the top of the 9th inning with an 8-1 lead. Quintana comes into the top of the 9th inning. He's going to be allowed to finish what he started. He is sitting at 92 pitches. He will face the middle of the Phillies lineup, and that'll start out with a pinch hitter, Mikey Matuk. 1-2 count. Quintana comes to the plate. That's going to be a base hit up the middle. Almora will play it on a hop, get it back into the infield. A single to lead off the top of the 9th inning, and that is going to be it. Apparently, all it took was just that one domino to fall over, and Quintana's pulled out of the game. The right-hander Sadler now will be brought in to face Segura with nobody out and a runner on first. 1-1 count. Sadler with the pitch. That's going to be flied over to right. That's going to drop in front of the right fielder, actually. And I feel like that wasn't a particularly aggressive play by Souza in right field. Could have maybe run up on that a little better and tried to record the out, but instead the Phillies have nobody out and 2 runners on base. Gregorius now the batter. First pitch to Gregorius. And that is hit hard to the gap in right center field. That actually hits the wall. Gregorius coming into second. He's actually heading for third. He is going to have an RBI triple. The Phillies have scored 2 runs. And now the game is 8-3. Grulon now the batter. Sadler still pitching with nobody out and another runner 90 feet away. 2-strike count. Grulon strikes out swinging. That is the first out of the top of the 9th inning. Schimpf now the batter. My guess is Kimbrel's warming up in case any more runs score here in the top of the 9th. Schimpf will bat with Gregorius on third and 1 out. 2-2 count. Sadler with the pitch. Strike 3 looking. Well, that is the 2nd out of the inning. And now the Phillies will send up JT Realmuto as their final batter, hopefully, of this game. He is going to bat with a runner on third and 2 out in the top of the 9th inning. 1-2 count. Sadler with the pitch. Strike 3 swing. Sadler recovered after allowing 2 runs to score. He does end up closing out the game, although he is not credited with a save. Certainly made it more interesting than it needed to be. The Cubs, winners of this game, improved their record to 13-15. They scored 8 runs on 14 hits and committed 1 error. The Phillies dropped to 20-8. They scored 3 runs on 8 hits with no errors. The player of the game is the Cubs starter, Jose Quintana. In 8 innings of work, he allowed 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And he improves his record on the season to 4-2. The Philadelphia starter, Kim, is tagged with his first loss of the season. He drops to 4-1. He has a 5 1/3 inning line with 11 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Well, thank you for watching Replacement Player Baseball.